Phantasm 2. This summer, the ball is back. Phantasm 1 was a surprising sleeper hit. The director wasn't really interested in a sequel, but then Universal picked it up and gave them $3 million, which isn't a lot for movies, but it was 10 times more than the first film had, and the highest budget of the entire franchise. But with studio comes studio mandates, which comes in the form of the main characters. The director was loyal to his friends and wanted Reggie and Mike to come back to play Reggie and Mike, but the studio said at least one of them has to go, and I guess the director had more loyalty to Reggie. The film begins with studio-mandated character of Liz looking over the storyboards of the ending to the last film. When we pick up from the ending of the last film, Reggie hears what's going on, and Mike was pulled into just his closet, so Reggie looks for his gun, but finding the ammo is a lot harder. Jawa. You can tell this movie has a higher budget because we see the faces of the Jawa. So ammo-less, he just uses the shotgun as a club. It works at first until the rest of the flock arrives, and he remembers he has a gas stove. Running away from that danger, he has a choice, tennis racket or bat, to fight the tall man. He chooses bat, and should have won with the tennis racket, that's way stronger. Guess it didn't really matter, because he's just fighting Jawas with it. So he grabs Mike's stunt devil and hops out the window. And the gas stoves. Damn, the tall man escaped. Back with Liz, and she's having prophetic dreams or something. Then we cut to Mike, now played by James LaGrosse, or LaGrasse, not sure. But Brad Pitt did audition for the role. Either way, Mike is in the loony bin, and he claims that it was all just a dream, so he gets his clean bill. It's still the 80s, so the economy's shit, so he has to grow grave rob. Reggie finds them, and it turns out this is the third empty casket the tall man has been here. But Reggie says, let's get out of here. I'm not trying to get you sent to Arkham again. The family's over, we got a gas stove, and wait a minute, gas stove, no! The filmmakers are actually kind of smart with this explosion. It's the exact same exploding house from the beginning of the film, just filmed at different angles, because they can only afford to blow up one house. So at the funeral, they realize the tall man's still out there, so they grab their stuff, and it's time to boogie. But like always on road trips, the driver says we're not going to stop for anything, and then 5 minutes later, we have to go to the hardware store for something. So Mike and Reggie decide to stock up on stuff, and when they're here, might as well weapon craft. A quadruple-barreled shotgun, and a homemade flamethrower. But don't worry, Reggie left behind a couple ones. The film was originally meant to be more about this road trip, but was cut down. As they take notes and head to Gary, Indiana, checking the graveyard, the tall man's was here. So they break in. Still nothing really out of the ordinary, maybe a naked zombie, but that doesn't really come back up, and they find Liz and Freddy Krueger popping out of their back, setting the head east. So Reggie torches them, and they're out. But it turns out Liz is fine. And an organ. The tall man has 2 mortician friends now. One is played by Mark Anthony Major, and the other one is a complete mystery. He's not listed in the end credits, or even uncredited on IMDb, or anywhere on the Phantom Wiki. This guy doesn't exist. So they're having a wake with Grandpa, but Liz gets bored and heads into the giant morgue attached to the church. Catholics, am I right? She spots a Jawa, and she squeezed her hands a little too tight. But the priest is having second thoughts, so he starts stabbing Grandpa, worried that he will turn into a zombie, making a silly face when Grandma walks in. In the crypts, Liz checks out a coffin.
Graveside service is about to begin.
Callback. And it looks like the tall man has got purple lips. He got an ice pop for being a good boy. He also got stabbed. I don't know where that happened. Back at the priest's house, nothing out of the ordinary. That damn Grandpa did still come back as a zombie. Back at Grandma's, she's kind of into it. Back with the guys. They pick up a hitchhiker named Alchemy, seriously. And then during pee break, they talk about her. Mike saw a dream of her dying, and Reggie wants to smash. Back with Liz. Oh no, Grandma's gone.
You want her. Come. Tonight.
Good thing she heard the voiceover. How else would she know to go back to the funeral home? Back at Kemi's bed and breakfast. Oh no, this town of Oregon has become Kalamazoo, Michigan. So they break in and set up some fraternity pranks. Back with Liz, she's checking out dead bodies, but when they're drained of blood, instead of filling them with embalming fluid, they're filled with Budweiser. The priest is having second thoughts about this. But the tall man uses the force to grab him by the necklace, and he says the church is no place for prayer. But he hasn't learned his lesson yet, so the tall man brings out his big shiny balls, which are bigger and shinier than ever. And because of that higher budget, they can do more things, like see in infrared and take off ears. But don't worry, they can still do the old trick of bringing out the forks, stick themselves to their head, and start drilling. But the NPAA censors and cuts this scene down a lot. Then the tall man finds Liz, and he literally just picks her up and yeets her across the room. But I guess the tall man had to pee or something, so he tags out and tags in Grandma, who's become Jawa. But being short, old, and now dead, she's able to just quickly escape from this 5'11" woman. She makes it out. Damn potholes. My bloody Valentine. It's just Mike. They make out, but Reggie cockblocks. Heading back to the bed and breakfast, and the couples pair off.
I love you.
Your lips aren't moving.
You're dreaming.
Wow. This is great.
Dude, Carl's gonna kill us if we don't kick everyone out of here right now.
Meanwhile, of Alchemy and Reggie, she teaches him about equivalent exchange. She'll take her pants and top off. In exchange, they'll only dry hump. But then they hear their booby trap go off. It was just a cat. Both of them distracted, Liz is grabbed by the tall man. So the guys leave Al and they head for a chase, which becomes a high-speed staring contest. But Reggie has 4 extra eyes. But the tall man knocks him off the road before they can use the wrist snapper. They gotta escape before the fire gets them. Back with Liz, it turns out the worst has happened. The tall man got Sam Raimi. No! The guys made it, find a weird keyhole, and they decide to spike the piss with some hydrochloric acid. Liz is about to be cremated, but she escapes and knocks the guy in the nards, tossing him into the furnace instead. Reggie is stalking around, but he gets attacked by a psycho mantis, as the balls are chasing the others. But luckily, he gets the other mortician right in the hand, and gives him some stigmatism. Oh no, a bigger, even shinier golden ball appears, nicknamed Rambo, behind the scenes. It's so bad the mortician cuts off his hand to escape it. Back with Reg, he's got a chainsaw, but Psycho Mantis's is bigger. As the others are getting chased by the camera, Evil Dead style, but the third time's the charm of the metal door. But the mortician found them. Well, that's a nice detail. He cut off circulation to his cut off arm. But the gold ball finally gets through the metal door and comedically rockets the mortician across the room from his ass and starts burrowing inside of him, eating him from the inside until he gets stuck in his teeth. Back with Texas Chainsaw Part 2, even with a chainsaw to the dick. But oh no, Jawas. So finally, Reggie uses the double-barreled shotgun, and it works. So finally realizing this is very effective, he throws it away. So he finds the others, and they come to the dumb conclusion that the Sentinels, which are the balls, since they have first blood, they're a lot easier to work with, and I guess they paid off because they use it as a key for that weird door, and they find the white room from the first film, which they act like they haven't seen before. They go to toast it, the tall man's there, and pimp slaps Reggie away. The guys then get sucked into the tall man's dimension, which hilariously doesn't even look that much different from the first film, and they're crushed. As the tall man shows Liz his catheter, not noticing the poison as the guys somehow drag themselves back into our dimension, and Mike somehow uses the ball to his advantage and sticks the tall man. The tall man really needs to rethink the Sentinel sphere things if they can just easily attack him and his henchmen. And because the NPAA only cares if the blood is red, we can show off the tall man's a Gemini. He gets drained, but that doesn't bother him, as he has a earwig growing out of his head. But Liz, not knowing that the catheter was hit with acid, sticks it in his back, and he starts melting. Yuck. Reggie torches the place. Al arrives with a stolen hearse, and they live happily ever. Whoops, pulled a little too hard on your hair.
Dream.
It's only a dream.
No, it's not.
Final body count, 17. Mostly the Jawas. This is a pretty good movie. It does exactly what a sequel needs to, and it has creative kills that rival the original, and continues the story believably enough. It's cool seeing the tall man again. But the film suffers from a lot of voiceovers explaining the obvious, and throwing a lot of twists that we already saw in the first film. New Mike is doing a good job, but it definitely feels weird because A. Michael will return in the future. Some people might not vibe with the more straightforward and less surreal tone from the original. At least personally, I think this is a sequel that might be flawed, but I think it stands with the original. 7 out of 10. But let me know your opinions on Phantasm 2 in the comments below, as well as liking and sharing this video, and subscribing if you really liked it.